The latest iPhone event happened, and something felt different. The excitement that once surrounded Apple's September announcements has quietly disappeared. Where we used to study Steve Jobs' presentations like masterclasses in innovation, we now watch polished but predictable pre-recorded videos that somehow lack the electric energy of those legendary live events. But this isn't just about presentation style. There's a deeper shift happening in the tech world that Apple seems to be missing. And it's raising an uncomfortable question. Is Apple walking down the same path that led Nokia from market dominance to complete irrelevance? In this video, we're going to examine Apple's current position in the technology landscape and explore 3 possible futures for the company. By the end, you'll understand why the decisions Apple makes in the next few years will determine whether it remains a tech leader or becomes a cautionary tale about corporate pride and missed opportunities. The innovation that no one noticed. Here's the thing. The new iPhones are genuinely impressive. They finally bring 120 Hz ProMotion displays to the standard models, something users have been demanding for years. The iPhone Air is remarkably thin and light, with Apple cleverly housing most of the hardware inside that camera bump they've been refining for generations. The engineering is brilliant. The new vapor chamber cooling system promises significant performance improvements and better battery life, addressing one of the biggest complaints about previous Pro models. These are meaningful hardware advances that would have dominated tech headlines just a few years ago. But here's the problem. Hardly anyone seems to care about these improvements anymore. The features that excite tech professionals, like the improved ProRes recording and the square sensor on the front camera that supports open gate recording, are incredibly niche. Most consumers find these developments technical and, frankly, boring. The reason is simple. Hardware innovation has been overshadowed by something far more captivating: artificial intelligence. People are no longer fascinated by the device. They're obsessed with what it can actually do for them. The war happening in Apple's own backyard. While Apple was unveiling its latest hardware achievements, something telling happened in the App Store. Google's Gemini app surpassed ChatGPT to reach the #1 position on Apple's own platform. This isn't just a minor shift in app rankings. It's a symbol of a much larger power transfer happening in technology. Apple has already admitted it can't compete in AI by partnering with ChatGPT for capabilities it couldn't develop internally. But now Google has leapfrogged even that solution, and billions of users are integrating AI assistants into their daily lives through these third-party applications rather than waiting for Apple Intelligence. Recent reports reveal fascinating user behavior patterns. ChatGPT is used more for personal tasks, with 52% of users having female names, while Claude is preferred for corporate work. The point is clear. People have already chosen their AI companions, and they're not Apple's. The Nokia warning. When hardware excellence isn't enough. To understand where Apple might be heading, we need to look at Nokia's downfall. In 2007, when the iPhone launched, Nokia was the undisputed king of mobile phones. They had sold 435 million phones compared to Apple's 1.4 million iPhones, a 300-fold difference. Nokia made exceptional hardware. Their phones were legendary for durability and reliability. Think of them as the most dependable devices in the mobile world. They had massive distribution networks and brand recognition, but they missed the crucial shift from hardware to platforms. They were so focused on making better phones that they didn't realize people were starting to care more about app stores and software ecosystems. Nokia tried to maintain control by developing their own operating system, Symbian, then partnered with Microsoft for Windows Phone. They never seriously considered adopting Android. If they had swallowed their pride and embraced Android early, they might still be Apple's strongest competitor today. Instead, they're now a networking equipment company struggling for relevance. The lesson is brutal. When platform shifts happen, hardware excellence becomes secondary to ecosystem control. The Microsoft model. How to survive platform transitions. Microsoft offers a different lesson. In 2013, they were in an even worse position than Nokia. Windows Phone was dead, and their share of connected device sales had fallen to nearly zero. The entire world had moved to iOS and Android, leaving Microsoft completely out of the mobile revolution. But Microsoft did something remarkable. They admitted defeat and completely changed strategy. When Satya Nadella became CEO, he explicitly ended the Windows Everywhere approach. Instead, Microsoft brought Office to iPad, acquired LinkedIn, focused on cloud computing with Azure, and positioned itself for the next platform shift. Today, Microsoft's approach to AI demonstrates this strategic flexibility. They integrated Copilot throughout their entire product suite, partnered with OpenAI from the beginning, but also developed alternative AI strategies as backup options. They don't see AI as a separate platform. They treat it as an energy source that powers their existing platforms. The results speak for themselves. Microsoft's market value reached $3.8 trillion by September 2025. More importantly, Microsoft's growth rate is twice as fast as Apple's, with doubled revenue over the last decade, while Apple's growth has slowed significantly. Apple's AI problem: pride versus pragmatism. Apple Intelligence arrived late and disappointed almost everyone. Even Apple's own AI director, John Giannandrea, reportedly described the Siri improvements as so bad they were embarrassing in internal meetings this year. He's leaving the company, along with several other high-level AI employees who are transferring to competitors. This brain drain isn't happening because Apple lacks resources. They have more money than almost any company in history. It's happening because Apple is trying to build everything internally, while the AI revolution happens around them. Apple's approach mirrors Nokia's fatal flaw: the insistence on controlling everything, even when superior external solutions exist. While Apple builds Apple Intelligence from scratch, users are already living with ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini on their iPhones, getting the AI experiences Apple promises to deliver someday. 3 possible futures for Apple. Apple faces 3 distinct paths forward, each leading to dramatically different outcomes. Scenario 1. The Nokia path. Apple continues developing Apple Intelligence internally while falling further behind in the AI race. Eventually, people use iPhones primarily for basic functions like messaging, while all the value-added AI experiences happen through third-party apps or on other platforms entirely. Apple becomes a luxury hardware manufacturer that's lost control of the technological agenda. Scenario 2. The Microsoft path. Apple accelerates strategic partnerships with leading AI companies, expanding beyond the current ChatGPT integration. They might acquire a company like Anthropic or form deeper partnerships that make the iPhone ecosystem the best place to access cutting-edge AI, even if Apple doesn't develop it internally. Scenario 3. The platform play. This is the most radical option. Apple transforms Apple Intelligence into a platform that third-party developers can build upon. Instead of trying to create the best AI assistant, they create the best foundation for AI applications, with their signature privacy and security features protecting users while allowing developers to innovate freely. What Apple could actually do. Apple's true strength has never been software alone. It's been the integration of software and hardware. If they can't make Siri as capable as ChatGPT, they should make iPhone the platform where ChatGPT, Claude, and other AI assistants work better than anywhere else. This approach would require Apple to share control, something that goes against their instincts. But it's exactly what Microsoft did when they brought Office to iPad and embraced multi-platform strategies. Sometimes strategic humility is more valuable than technological pride. The choice that defines everything. The decisions Apple makes today and in the next few years will show their results within 10 years, just like how Microsoft's strategic pivot around 2015 is paying dividends now. Apple's strategy choices today will determine their relevance a decade from now. 10 years ago, Apple showed a beautiful video with lines and dots, emphasizing that while technology alone can be impressive, it's the human element that makes it meaningful. But creating inspiring videos is easier than implementing the vision they represent. The hardware is still excellent. The new iPhones are genuinely impressive pieces of engineering. But in a world where intelligent software sets the technological agenda, people care more about capabilities than specifications. They're choosing smart experiences over hardware features. What this means for you. Whether you're an Apple user, investor, or just someone interested in technology trends, Apple's next moves matter. The company that defined the smartphone era is at a crossroads that will determine whether it leads the AI era or becomes a footnote in someone else's success story. The parallel with Nokia isn't perfect. Apple has stronger ecosystem lock-in, more diverse revenue streams, and significantly more resources. But the fundamental challenge is the same: adapting to a platform shift that makes previous advantages less relevant. Apple's choice isn't just about technological capability or financial resources. It's about strategic intelligence and the willingness to evolve. Microsoft proved that even companies that miss major platform transitions can reinvent themselves if they're honest about their limitations and strategic about their strengths. The question is not whether Apple can afford to be wrong about intelligent software. It's whether they can afford to be stubborn about it. These videos take tremendous time and effort to produce. So if you found this analysis valuable, hitting the like button and subscribing really helps the channel grow. Let me know in the comments which scenario you think Apple will choose. Will they follow Nokia's path of decline, Microsoft's path of adaptation, or something entirely different? Thanks for watching.